Welcome to the Mind for Success podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Lebbing, and I love seeing business professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs have massive success in their businesses. Are you ready to reach a higher level in your business? Are you looking to rise to the top and break through the barriers that are holding you back? If this is you, join us on the Mind for Success podcast. Hello and welcome to the Mind for Success podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Lebbing, and today I'm going to share with you something that I run across a lot with business owners and entrepreneurs. And our title for today is How to Gain Focus in a World of Shiny Objects. So I know if you are listening, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, you have likely been bitten by the shiny object bug. And I'm going to go into that a lot deeper. I'm going to give you some tips, and I'm going to also give you some insights as to why that sometimes happens and what you can do to fix it. So when I talk with entrepreneurs, a lot of times they come to me, and their main reason is they're struggling with their focus, or this is one of the reasons. They struggle with focus. They struggle with clarity. They feel stuck. And sometimes I've heard this more often than not, especially lately, that they even feel paralyzed in what to do next. They may jump from business to business, from one thing to another, changing the type of business that they do, or maybe they jump from strategy to strategy, trying to figure it all out. Or maybe they're in sales and they're jumping from company to company, but they're always kind of trying to seek what's the next thing that I can do that's going to keep me being consistent and really focused. What they don't realize is a lot of this that's going on is it's internal. It's based on these internal filters that we have, and there's a much deeper reason behind it. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that I see that are common reasons behind it. I will say, though, it's not the only reason. So it's just probably the most common one. And, I hear people even explain this as, I have ADHD, I lack focus. So when I want to put a little bit disclaimer, I'm not discounting ADHD in any way. If you have that diagnosis or you believe that that's you, I want you to listen to this, because this is going to be some help for you, whether it's ADHD diagnosed or whether it's shiny object syndrome or lack of focus and clarity, whatever that is, whatever definition you want to give it. The strategies to deal with it are the same. So I want to hit the very first thing first, and that is when we are describing what we're struggling with. And this actually applies to any of our struggles. But when I hear someone say, well, I really have a hard time staying focused because of my ADHD. That's a common one. I actually heard that this morning from one of my clients, one of my new clients. And what I told her, and I actually heard this last week with a team that I was working with. Two of the guys, we were deciding, what do we want to work on? What layers do we want to peel back? And it was the same thing. It was, well, I struggle because of my ADHD. Well, I'm not discounting that you have ADHD, but what I want to encourage you to do, and this is because of the way your brain works, is I want to encourage you to stop referring to it as my ADHD, because when you do that, you are taking total ownership of it, and you are actually activating your brain to focus on the thing that you don't want. So you're activating the reticular activating system in your brain to focus
on the fact that you have my ADHD. And what your brain does when you do that is it will look for reasons to support that belief or that statement. It will look for, and you will subconsciously do things that support my ADHD over and over and over again. So it'll make something that's maybe already a problem an even bigger problem. So stop saying that. And what I like to tell clients to do instead is to refer to these problems as in the past. In the past, I struggled with attention and focus. What that does is it tells your brain that it's in the past, and it also tells you to your brain that you're seeking something else, that you're seeking a new way of doing things, which is true because that's what you want, I would assume, is to have more focus and more clarity. So you want to pay attention to your words and what you're saying. And by the way, this really applies to anything, any part of our business or our personal life that we're frustrated with, any behaviors that we're frustrated with, refer to it as in the past, because that will help your brain recognize that you don't want to live there anymore. You are seeking ways to change the way you've been showing up. So very, very, very important. Okay. Next, number 2 is find the deeper reason. The deeper reason behind that shiny object syndrome, that jumping from one thing to the other, that lack of focus, that clarity. And what I have been finding specifically with people who say that they really have, this is a big problem for them, one of the underlying problems that we identify is that there is a deeper problem of not having enough confidence. So confidence in what they're doing, maybe confidence in themselves, or maybe it's even a worth issue. Maybe they really struggle. And so what they do is they keep jumping from one thing to the next because they're not comfortable with whatever it is that they're doing. So subconsciously they're looking for other things. So, and then it keeps them distracted because they don't want to feel that feeling of I'm not confident. So there's always a deeper reason. And one of the things that I do to uncover that is I'll ask, so how is that a problem? I mean, I use a lot of questions with people to help them uncover what the deeper thing is. But if they are, let's say we're not focused, we always want to get to what is that deeper problem? So asking questions like, how is that a problem? Or what is important to you? What is important to you about being focused? That is another way that you can go deeper and deeper and deeper so that you can identify what the core reason is. But I am telling you, confidence has come up more than once in the last couple of weeks, and thinking back over all the people that I've worked with, that shows up a lot. It's not the only thing in regards to this, but it does show up a lot. So that lack of confidence. And sometimes people just, maybe they had something recent that happened. I think about a divorce, or maybe something happened with the market and the economy. And so maybe sales aren't as good as they used to be. So they're not as confident as they used to be in that particular area. So then they feel this lack of focus, ADHD, shiny object syndrome. And so they start jumping from one thing to another. So that's one of the things I see. The other thing that I actually see even more often is there is usually a deeper root reason of why they don't feel confident. And it could be coming from various different places. And what I work with are core emotions, and we get to the root cause of what internal filter, what program were you around that made you choose to believe that you're not confident enough in the things that you do, and so you aren't focused. So where we look for, where did that begin? And some people grew up with, maybe parents that put them down. Or maybe not that dramatic. I talked with someone else that said their decisions were always made for them growing up. They had hovering parents, so there's a lesson. but they had hovering parents who didn't allow them to make their own decisions. So they didn't really even know how to make decisions. So they weren't confident in the things that they were doing, or like I said, they may have been put down, or maybe it was less dramatic, and it was just, they're on a sports team, they're winning, and one time they didn't, and they had a coach that maybe made a remark, or our friend did. So it doesn't take very much for something like this to take seed, and then we take it on when we're little, and we shove it under the rug, and then it stays with us. It stays with us, and this filter that we're seeing ourselves through ends up affecting our decisions, our behaviors, our actions, and everything that we do. And so when we grow up, we don't even remember, or maybe we do, but we think, oh, we're way past that. That was so long ago. I'm way past that. And we don't even realize how much of that is affecting every single aspect of our life. So it can go really, really deep, and it's something to really be aware of. And if you can get to that reason behind the indecisiveness or the shiny objects syndrome, the lack of focus, if you can get to the real reason behind it, and then go back and find out what you can learn from it, reframe that whole situation, and then you have a new perspective. And what comes from that is you get to leave the past in the past, and now you get to look at your life, your business, with a new sense of clarity, with a new sense of focus, with new confidence in everything that you're doing, because you no longer see yourself in that way. You see that situation for what it was, for really the truth of whatever it was. And you understand that you believed a lie. And that going forward can change everything. It can change everything for you. And then you're doing all the things that you want to do, and you no longer have that lack of focus or that shiny object syndrome. It's totally different. And even someone who has been diagnosed with ADHD officially, this can help. It can help. It can help make you more focused. So some of the best, and I want to encourage you too, because some of the best entrepreneurs in the world, some of the most world famous people out there, struggle with this or have struggled with it, and they learned how to harness it. They learned how to really hone in on it and use it as a gift instead. They didn't stay in that. They didn't stay in that lack of focus. They found ways around it. So there's a lot of people out there that struggle with this, which is why I wanted to do this training. So after you reframe the problem, the next really important step is to create new neural pathways or a new action so that you're doing things differently. And you do this by really visually stepping into what it is you want to do. So stepping into that new behavior fully, actively, so that your brain can see yourself doing something different than what it did before. That's an important step in this. and really with any problem. And that's what I work with when I'm working with someone. And it's amazing to see how really pliable our brains are and how we can get into action immediately when you go through these steps of identifying what that problem is, going through and finding the root cause of it, reframing it or fixing it so it doesn't happen again. And then also creating a new behavior so that you can move forward quickly. Because that's what it's all about. So you can stay focused. So the last part of this is I want to give you some tips that if this is really a struggle for you, some practical tips that you can really do right away. They may have been some things that you've heard, maybe you've never heard it before, but these are things that I talk with all of my clients because it really, really, really helps. And it has to do with our daily habits. So how do you start and end your day? I will say if you are starting your day by looking on your phone, checking messages, going into email immediately, and you're not taking any time for yourself, you are going to lack focus. You're going to lack clarity throughout the day because those few minutes or whatever time frame that you spend with yourself ground you, and they help you start your day in a proactive state instead of reactive. Because the moment you open up your phone and you're checking this and checking that, you are in a reactive mode, and that makes your brain bounce all over the place and lack focus. So that's the first thing I want to make sure that you are paying attention to that. And even if it's just a few minutes of quiet, go, grab your cup of coffee and just be quiet. Just be, if nothing else, pray, journal, meditate, take a few minutes that are just for you where you're able to do this. This is not a multitasking thing. I had someone say, well, I do that when I'm in the shower or when I'm driving, and that's not really the same thing. It's helpful, so I'm glad you do that, but it's not really the same thing as really quieting down your brain and starting off the day with intention. Because if you're multitasking, you're already putting yourself in a reactive mode. You're not being proactive. You're just doing what you need to do to get to start today. And you're throwing in some stuff that makes you feel like you're getting real grounding. It's helpful, but it's not really quieting your mind the way you want to get real focus. Okay. Number 2. Meditation, prayer are huge. Breathing. If you have ever tried any of these things, even throughout the day, at the very least, at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, try these things. There's all kinds of apps. There's YouTubes. There's tons of resources out there. If that's not something that's your thing, I would suggest you try it because it can quiet your mind and help you with your focus every single day. And then the third thing that you could do right now is, are you exercising? How's your nutrition? I mean, these are basic things, but they can make a big difference. If you've ever think about our kids, if you've ever been to a child's birthday party and you watch the kids before and after they eat the cake, it is a big difference on the hyperactive level. So if your diet's full of sugar and dyes and junk food, and that's what you're fueling yourself with, that is going to affect your focus as well. And exercise, get some exercise, even if it's just walking or something. Do something, because this helps kids too. So I know that I have 3 children, and I know the effects of this when they when they were littler, that when they got out and were able to run around, they were able to focus better. So those are simple things. Hopefully you're already doing them. If you're an entrepreneur and you really want to build something big, this is something you are going to have to address at some point, because it's going to make you more productive. So all of these things, they're going to make you more productive. You'll be able to serve the people, whatever passion you have, whatever thing that you're doing, you'll be able to serve more people this way because you are more focused. And when you are more focused, you attract more people to you because they feel that, one, and they know that you are the expert or you are the person that can help them with whatever solution you provide. So I hope you take this. And I hope you take these tips and use them, apply them, reach out to me. I would love to chat with you. I have all kinds of resources on my website, KimberlyLebbing.com. And I have a group coming up in January. So it's December in 2022, January 2023, I have a group coming up that's 9 weeks long that includes my 4-hour process that gets to those core reasons of why we feel stuck, paralyzed, or lack clarity. It gets to those core reasons. And we're continuing on for 9 weeks. I encourage you to go check it out, see if it's for you. Reach out to me with questions. It's on my website. So you can go directly to my website. You'll see a button right at the top that has some info about my group. So thank you again for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.
Are you ready to break through the barriers that are holding you back and reach a higher level in your business in just 4 hours? Be sure to click the link today and join other high-achieving professionals that have worked with Kimberly Lebbing to accelerate their success.